Hey everybody, today I'll talk about the gear trap and show you what you can achieve with a pencil and a piece of paper, two of the most inexpensive pieces of drawing equipment available to most of us. If you're like me, you've fallen into the gear trap more than once. You've picked up a new hobby, say running or cooking or filmmaking or painting. And being a 21st century person, you go on the internet first and research what kind of stuff you'll need to succeed in it. Chances are your first search results are from companies selling gear for your chosen field of interest. You watch YouTube videos done by heavily sponsored influencers seemingly living the high life in brand ambassador roles. You ask around on Twitter or Facebook and get more and more ads tailored to your recent searches and conversations. And pretty soon you will see that you will need to invest somewhere north of several hundred or even €1,000 or dollars or pounds to get started. Yelp. And whereas yet you actually believe that you do. There even is a name or an acronym for this, GAS, Gear Acquisition Syndrome, which adds to a whole dimension to the concept of gaslighting, doesn't it? Depending on your financial situation and your general gullibility, just how rich a sucker with no self-confidence are you, you'll end up having spent more than you could afford on things you never needed in the first place and having lost any enthusiasm for your new hobby once that you find out that what you really need to succeed can't be bought. That is when you start selling your new gear and find out that it actually lost over half its original monetary value and that you sometimes even can't give it away for free because the newer generation of suckers falls for the shinier, newer, better than ever before version of your totally outdated old school piece of equipment from 6 months ago. Awkward. Always remember that during the gold rush in the 19th century, the guys that were actually making money were not the guys digging for the gold, but the ones selling them the shovels to dig with. If you want to start drawing, you'll need a pen or a pencil, maybe a knife to sharpen it with, and a piece of paper, and that's about it. You don't even need an eraser necessarily, though if you think you do, they are somewhere around to quit and last you quite a long time. Chances are you already have all that. If not, all of it is quite easy to find almost anywhere in the world, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. What you really need and what nobody can sell you is passion, determination, stamina, and a clear concept of what it is that you want to achieve. Pro, none of this costs any money. Con, these are often much harder to find and to keep. So let's jump right into using a few of the most basic, readily available and affordable art materials out there and create something fun with it. What I have here is a pencil. Mine's a 6B, but really any size will do. A knadded eraser, again a plastic one will do, just try to stay away from the ones tacked onto the back of your pencils because those most likely will be too hard and smudge or tear the paper. Some sketching paper, printer paper is just fine. A knife for sharpening, I like using a knife for sharpening rather than a pencil sharpener because I get to shape the pencil any which way I choose, but a pencil sharpener certainly will do fine. That's it. Now, what can you do with this? Where are the colors? Isn't black and white rather boring? Quite the opposite. When you're working in black and white, you will need to focus on the essentials of a drawing. The lines and where to put the lights and shadows, how to set the tonal values, and on creating depth of field by deciding what to put into focus and what to only suggest with a few lighter lines and shapes. Let's say we want to paint the raccoon on his way to the treehouse. The lake is in the background, the tree in the middle ground, the raccoon is in the foreground. Personally, I like to start out with 1 or 2 thumbnail sketches. A thumbnail is called that because it's a very rough sketch the size of a, thumbnail, a postage mark, if you will. It's quick and easy to create, and it helps you decide on your composition and to get the proportions right. And also you can decide in a thumbnail where to put your light source. If you already know what size or format your finished illustration will have later on, See to it that the aspect ratio of your thumbnail is matching the final image size, because it will help you later on. Here I'll use a 1:2 landscape format. Since the scene we have in mind takes place outside in the park by day, our light source will most likely be the sun. We can decide if it's going to be a bright and sunny day with no clouds, or a cloudy day with only some rays of sunshine peeking through, or a rainy day with no visible sun. If we were to draw a night scene, we'd consider the moon as our light source, and maybe some artificial lights like a handheld torch or a fire or a paraffin lamp near the treehouse. But let's leave it at daylight for this example and see where the sun is coming from. Do we want to backlight the treehouse? That will place our raccoon in the shadows in the foreground and make him harder to see, yet make him maybe more interesting, because the viewer would wonder, is that a raccoon and what is he up to? Do we want to backlight the raccoon? That will throw a lot of light onto the treehouse and push focus away from the raccoon. If it were a panel of a comic book page, for example, we'd expect something or someone stepping out of the treehouse in the next panel. Your light source is dependent on what aspect of the story you want to tell, what kind of expectations you set in your viewer's mind, what you want to put your light on. Never lose sight of your storyline and the big picture. And if you're just doodling and if you have no big picture or storyline in mind and you're just in the process of coming up with something that looks cool, this might be your spark to initiate a storyline. Follow it up, don't just leave it at that. You never know where it might lead you. That's it for today. I hope you got something out of it. Hit the like button if you did, or downvote button if you didn't. Either way, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so below. And if you have any questions or complaints, write them in the comments and I'll try to answer them best I can. Cheers, and see you in the next video. Bye.